Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. This year, I've released 3 to 4 videos on bank bonus hacking. Now, that is a strategy that allows you to make hundreds or even thousands of dollars just by opening a bank account and setting up direct deposit. Now, I know that sounds amazing, right? Free money for simply opening up a checking account and making a deposit. Now, who wouldn't want that? Now, this is a side hustle that has made me over $30,000 from bank account bonuses alone. And yes, that is real money deposited directly into my accounts just for meeting a few simple requirements. But here is the catch. Most of those offers require a direct deposit, and that is where a lot of people get stuck. Like me, you may not work for a traditional employer that pays you via direct deposit. Maybe you're self-employed. Maybe you're a freelancer, or you're running your own business. Or perhaps you just don't want to mess up the settings on your paycheck right now just to get a bank bonus. Whatever your situation is, if you're thinking, I can't do a direct deposit, then don't worry, because today I'm going to show you 6 surprisingly effective ways to mimic or fake a direct deposit and unlock those bank bonuses. These really aren't hacks, but rather just workarounds that some banks will still recognize as qualifying direct deposits, even though technically they aren't. And before we dive in, I just want to introduce myself again for some people who are new here. My name is Steven. I've been creating videos on YouTube for now a little over 2.5 years. I've helped thousands of people with personal credit, business education, as well as business funding. And I've also helped companies and brands expand their reach through social media content. I share strategies and ideas on YouTube completely free. So if you get any value from this, please take a second, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're probably about 2 or 3 months away now from reaching 200,000 subscribers. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's start by breaking down what a direct deposit actually is. Now, although some definitions can vary slightly from one bank to another, the general idea is the exact same. A direct deposit is an electronic transfer of money, typically from an employer or government agency, into your bank account. Now, this could include paycheck, social security payments, or other types of government benefits. However, peer-to-peer payments like the ones you might see with Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, things like that, those do not count. Nor do transfers from your own accounts, at least not officially. But here's where things get kind of interesting. Some banks will treat certain types of electronic transfers as qualifying direct deposits when it comes to awarding those sign-up bonuses. So let's actually go over to the first method. The first option is to use a traditional bank transfer. Now, this one is arguably the easiest of the 6 methods, but it doesn't always work. It depends on the flexibility of the bank. That's because you're not technically making a payroll or government deposit, but some banks are surprisingly lenient at how they interpret these transactions, and they might still code it as a direct deposit. Now, here's how it works. If you already have a checking account with a major bank like US Bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, or Bank of America, you simply log into that account, you set up a transfer to your newly opened bank account, and this is the key, it must be a push transfer, not a pull transfer. So I'm sure you're thinking, what is the difference? A push transfer means you're logging into your existing bank account and you're pushing money into this new account. You're initiating the transfer from the account that already has your money. A pull transfer, by contrast, means you log into the new account and you request money from the old one. For the purposes of qualifying for direct deposit bonuses, only push transfers typically count. Now, when you do this, you want to make sure that your transfers are 2 weeks apart, just like a regular 9-to-5 job, which normally takes place on a Friday. I suggest setting up a reoccurring transfer for 3 to 4 weeks. You want to make it appear as if you're having an ACH direct deposit transfer on a consistent basis. Now, once you meet the direct deposit requirements, you can stop initiating these transfers. I recently tried this, and I'll give you an example of what that looks like and how the transaction was coded as a direct deposit. Now, before we go over to my Citibank account as an example, I just want to clarify some information when it comes to an ACH transfer. Now, an ACH transfer is the electronic movement of money between banks or credit unions through the automated clearinghouse network. ACH transfers will include external fund transfers, person-to-person payments, bill payments, and direct deposits from employers and government benefit programs. Business-to-business payments are another example. Now, there are 2 different types of ACH transfers. There is the ACH credit transfer that allows you to push money online to accounts at different banks, either accounts that you own or your friends or family members may actually have control of those accounts. The second type is the ACH debit transfer. That involves money getting pulled from an account when you set up things like reoccurring bill payments. For example, the company you're paying can pull what it's owed from the account each and every month. Now, the reason I go over this is because I want to show you two different types of transfers on a Citibank account. And when I show you, then you'll understand exactly why this can work. However, if you do this incorrectly, you'll also understand when this will not work. So currently I am on my Citibank account. I am going to take you through the steps of how you would actually initiate a push ACH transfer to qualify for direct deposits. I'm also going to show you the incorrect way to do this. That way you can make sure that you're doing it the proper way to ensure that you have the most likely outcome of getting this coded as a direct deposit. Now, let's start by going to payments and transfers, and then we're going to go to payments and transfer activity. Now, of course, every bank is going to be different, but when I look at my Citibank account, I logged in, I look for the transfer between your accounts. You're going to see the account that you actively have with the bank, or in this particular case, Citibank, and then you're going to look for the transfer to. You'll see that you have external account options. Now, I already have an account set up here, but normally you would need to add the account number and the routing number information in order to send money to an external bank account. Now, I'm going to select transfer because my Navy Federal account is already here. But again, as you can see, there's that option that says external account. If you were in the same situation, you would look for that with your institution. Then click on transfer. So now that I set up my transfer, it lets you review it, and I'm just going to show $50 right here. And as you can see, it's showing from account, my checking account with Citibank, to my Navy Federal account. It is showing the transfer date, and you can see right here it says, by selecting transfer now, you authorize Citi to initiate a one-time ACH transfer as described above. Now, I've done this before, and this specific transfer has been coded as an ACH direct deposit. And there's an option that you can select where you can have this transfer reoccur. It was on the previous screen, but it allowed me to actually pick how often do I want this transfer to happen. You can have it happen every 2 weeks, bi-weekly. That way this ACH transfer will be coded as a direct deposit. Now, this is the wrong way to do it, and I just want to show you this as an example. Now, I still went to payments and transfers, but instead I went to wires and transfers. Now, remember, when you add a payee or you're paying someone, right? That's not a push transfer. That is going to be considered a pull transfer. That is not what we want. If you do that, that will be the incorrect way, even though both of these options kind of look the exact same. For example, as you see here, I can add the exact same Navy Federal account. It's already here as a payee. And notice it looks the exact same, right? Like it's showing you like you can add the amount, except the method right here is different. Transfer method is a domestic wire transfer. It is not an ACH transfer. Now, this particular type of transaction will not be coded as a direct deposit. So you really want to pay attention to this. And once again, all banks are going to be different. However, there will be something where if you can see it on screen where it shows you ACH, that should be good. If it does not show you, then instead I would go ahead and look for a different bank to do this with. I would also run a few test deposits. Test it and put it on a bi-weekly time frame. See if you actually qualify for your bank bonus. If you don't, then you'll want to look at an alternative method because it may not work with that institution. However, if done properly, this should be coded as an ACH transfer that will qualify for a direct deposit bank bonus, even though when you read the terms and conditions on some of the bank bonuses, it actually says that this would not count. Now, hopefully that simple explanation did help qualify things with what type of transfer that you actually need. Our second option is a brokerage account transfer. Now, with the brokerage account, when you do a push transfer to an outside bank, it generally codes as a direct deposit and says as much on the transaction description. Now, you can use platforms like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, or even newer brokerages like Robinhood or Webull to push money from your investment account into your bank account. As long as you initiate the transfer from the brokerage account and not the bank, many banks will register that as a direct deposit. For example, I opened a checking account at Bank of America a few years back for a $300 sign-up bonus. The requirements were to receive $2,000 in direct deposits within 60 days. Now, instead of funneling my paycheck through it, I logged into my E-Trade brokerage account and I pushed over 2 separate transfers of $2,000 each. A few weeks later, the $300 bonus hit my account. Now, this works the exact same way as our previous example. There's no need for me to show you on the website. So let's actually move on to method number 3. Now, option number 3 will be a business checking account. Now, this one is surprisingly effective and might even be more consistent than the other two because it mimics how actual employers pay employees from a business bank account to a personal account. Now, here's a cool trick. You don't need to have a giant company or dozens of employees to get a business bank account. In fact, just about anyone can open one. To start, you'll need to incorporate a business with a state. It doesn't have to be the state that you live in, just one with low registration fees. For instance, Hawaii, Michigan, and Missouri, they have the lowest foreign LLC registration fees at around $50. After that, you'll need an employer identification number and EIN, which you can get for free from irs.gov. It's like a social security number, but for your business. Once you've got your business registered and you have your EIN, you can open a business checking account. And you can open up a business account with so many different places. And once you open your business bank account, you simply add your personal checking account details as a transfer set up externally. From the bank's perspective, it'll look a lot like an employer paying wages, and the bank could recognize this as a direct deposit. Now, if you're serious about business credit, business banking, and banking relationships, this is one of the reasons I always talk about structuring your finances correctly. You want to make sure that your money movement makes sense, you want clean records, and you want separation between personal and business finances. And if your personal credit is holding you back from getting approved for better accounts, better cards, or better funding opportunities, well, that's where a tool like Rising can fit into your overall finance strategy. Rising is a DIY credit repair platform that helps you review your credit and identify any inaccurate or negative information, track responses, and you can actually send your disputes all through this one platform. So if your goal is not just to get a bank bonus, but to actually become more fundable, improve your credit score, and position yourself for better approvals, then Rising can be the thing that helps organize this process. Right now, you can access your credit report through Rising's $1 7-day trial. There will be a link in the description. There will also be a clickable link here on screen. Now for the fourth method, and this one might actually surprise a lot of you, but it's going to be Treasury Direct withdrawals. Now you can purchase T-bills on treasurydirect.gov. This is the US government's official platform for buying Treasury securities like savings, bonds, and T-bills. And while that might sound complicated, it's actually one of the most underrated ways to qualify for a bank bonus. Now, I'm specifically talking about T-bills here, short-term government securities that mature in as little as 4 weeks. Now, when you buy a T-bill, you're lending money to the government and they pay you back a slightly higher amount when it matures. Now, why does this actually matter? Because banks often classify this payment as a government deposit and therefore a qualifying direct deposit. Now, I've tested this theory with a $325 bonus from Citibank, which has a reputation for being very strict about what counts as a direct deposit. I bought 2 T-bills through Treasury Direct. I set my Citibank account as the payout account and I waited. Sure enough, Citibank treated those withdrawals as a valid direct deposit and the bonus came through. Now, if you want to see a full walkthrough of exactly how you can set this account up, I'm going to link my previous video right here of how to fake a direct deposit. Just jump down to the timestamps and I actually go through a step-by-step process showing you how to set this up and how you can actually make this reoccur and look like a direct deposit. Once the T-bills mature, the proceeds will automatically be deposited into that selected account, and this should potentially trigger your bank sign-up bonus. Once again, in the past for me, this has worked. Now, the fifth method is using side hustle and business income. The first option is using an Amazon Seller Central payout account. If you sell products through Amazon and you receive your earnings to your checking account through ACH, that deposit should count as a direct deposit. Now, you can sell something through Amazon and have the funds deposited into your personal bank account. I've sold things on Amazon throughout the years and this has worked for me. Now, if you want to see a video on how to actually set this up, I'm going to link that video right here and show you how you can create an account with with Amazon in order to do this. However, you want to keep in mind that every bank is different, and that's why I recommend verifying this first. The second option that I do know work is YouTube and Google AdSense. So if you're a content creator and you earn money from YouTube, those AdSense payments are usually sent electronically to your bank. Now, for creators, this can be one of the cleanest forms of qualifying for bank bonuses because it's real business income being paid from Google into your account. But there are a few things that you need to remember. First, Google generally doesn't send a payment until you finalize your earnings, and it has to reach a certain payment threshold. So if you do not make enough in that month, you may not receive a payout. Second, these payments usually come on a monthly schedule. They are not something that you can manually trigger whenever you want. And third, you should call your bank and ask if Google AdSense or Google ACH payments do count towards their direct deposit requirements. The third option is gig economy payouts. If you drive for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, or any other gig platform, your scheduled payouts may count as direct deposit. But there is one major detail that you need to understand. Most of the time, you want to use the platform's regular scheduled payout option. So that means the money is automatically deposited into your checking account on the normal weekly schedule. If you use instant payout, fast pay, or cash out to a debit card, this will not code the same way. Now, all of these options are very niche, but they should all count as direct deposits for most major financial institutions. Now, for our sixth and final method, that's going to be to set up payroll for your business. Now, this is the only option on this list that will 100% guarantee that you will qualify for a bank bonus. Running payroll for yourself using payroll processing services like Gusto, QuickBooks Payroll, ADP, or Paychex is a streamlined way to pay yourself properly, especially if your business is being taxed as an S corporation or a C corporation. So if you're a business owner and you want to learn how you can do this, I highly recommend that you watch my video. I just recently did an update that should be out right now. Check out that video. That is probably the best way that you can guarantee that you will get these bank bonuses. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. So if you're unable to receive a traditional direct deposit for any reason, just know that there are still creative, completely easy ways that you can qualify for bank bonuses. Personally, I would lean towards using a business checking account or treasury direct withdrawals. They tend to work more consistently. But if you already have an investment or checking account and want to try the brokerage or bank transfer options, then that is also a good way to go. And I've included all the links to all the resources mentioned in this video, so you should be able to find them below. And hopefully this will help you unlock a few bank bonuses of your own without needing to wait on your next paycheck. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I've got tons more videos lined up on how to level up your finances, maximize your money, and of course, build long-term wealth. Remember, financial knowledge builds over time, so you want to start small, stay consistent, and you want to keep learning. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a wonderful day.